We all know Zira as the evil lioness who led the outsiders from The Lion King 2. She was the most dedicated follower of Scar, and she believed he was the rightful king of the Pride Lands. But have you ever wondered where she came from? Because she looks different than the lionesses in the Pride Lands. Her fur is a bit lighter, and she has a different build than the lionesses of the Pride Lands. At first, I thought Zira's looks were this way due to the difficult life in the Outlands, but now, when the new Mufasa movie has come out, I have many reasons to believe she was one of the outsiders of Kirros. Because if this is true, it would also explain how she came to know Scar. Kirros' outsiders were a pride of white lions, feared for their ruthlessness and relentless pursuit of power. These lions were outcasts from various prides and were driven by bitterness and a shared desire for vengeance. The outsiders cared for nothing but their mission and started to kill every pride that stood in their way, showing no mercy. And when we look at Zira, these are exactly the traits she has because she cares for nothing, not even her own children. Nuka wasn't strong enough to take Scar's place as king, so she neglected him. When Kovu didn't do what she said, she slapped him in the face, leaving him a scar. She doesn't really seem to care about anything other than carrying out her mission of following Scar's legacy. Just like the outsiders from the Mufasa movie, didn't care about anything except defeating any pride in their path and taking over the Valley of Kings. Because we first see two of them when they attack Mufasa and his foster mother Aishe. Mufasa bravely fights back, killing one of them, while the other escapes. Scar, at this time still called Taka, witnesses the attack, but is too scared to step in. The surviving white lion returns to Kirros, the leader of the outsiders, who is angry because the dead lion was his son. Kirros ordered his lionesses to kill the lion, who returned for leaving his son to die. Now Kirros was really mad and became dedicated to revenge his son by killing Mufasa. Mufasa warns Obasi about the danger, but Obasi tells him and Taka to run away to stay safe. Shortly after they left, Kirros and his army of outsiders launched an attack on Obasi's pride. But as Kirros is talking with Obasi, he does something familiar. He scratches the tree the exact same way as Zira does at the wall in The Lion King 2. So, what if this was a way of scratching territory for the outsiders? Zira must have been with them to have known about this mark. But after Kirros' pride destroyed Mufasa and Taka's family, they began hunting for Mufasa. Mufasa and Taka, having narrowly escaped the massacre of their pride, traveled to Milele, the mythical place of safety. Along the way, they met Sarabi, a lioness who had also lost her family to the outsiders. Sarabi was accompanied by a hornbill Zazu, who acted as her scout. The three quickly teamed up in the need to survive the outsiders. Not long after, the group stumbled upon Rafiki, a young but wise mandrill who also joined them on the way to Milele. But what does this all have to do with Zira? Well, this is the beginning of how Mufasa and Taka betrayed each other and how Taka formed an alliance with Kirros outsiders. Taka discovered Mufasa went after Sarabi behind his back, although he told Mufasa that he liked Sarabi first. Therefore, Taka felt betrayed and he secretly met Kirros. Taka promised that he would help him find Mufasa to get revenge on his brother. When the group finally reached Milele, Taka left marks for Kirros and his army to follow. Soon after, Kirros and his lions attacked. During the battle, Mufasa discovered that Taka returned his betrayal by leading their enemies to Milele. But there was no time to talk. Mufasa rallied the animals of Milele to fight back against Kirros' pride. Kirros and Mufasa started to fight too, but Kirros of course dominated. Taka was watching it and decided to save Mufasa, and they together defeated Kirros. After the battle ended and Milele was safe, Mufasa became the king and allowed Taka to stay with them, but only under the condition that he would never say his name again. Taka then suggested they call him Scar, and so they did. But not all of Kirros' outsiders were killed. So what if Zira was among the survivors? This would explain why she and other lionesses became the exiled outsiders we see in The Lion King 2. Their lighter skin tone compared to the Pride Lands lions could further signify their origins as part of Kirros' pride. After Mufasa became king of Malele, which became the Pride Lands, tensions between him and Taka, now Scar, grew worse. Scar felt deeply betrayed, believing that he should have been king, as his father had always taught him. Over time, he began to feel like he no longer belonged in the Pride Lands, and therefore Scar secretly reconnected with the outsiders, the pride of lionesses who had followed Kirros. As Scar spent more time with the outsiders, he grew closer to Zira. The lionesses felt lost without a leader after Kirros' death, and Scar gave them hope. Scar, too, found a sense of power and belonging among the outsiders. Meanwhile, Mufasa was busy with his duties as king, and likely did not suspect that his brother would betray him again. Though Scar only met with the outsiders in secret at first, he began to dream of reclaiming what he believed was rightfully his, the throne. That must also be a part of why Zira loved Scar so much. He made Kirros' wish come true, and he looked after the lionesses who hated Mufasa for killing Kirros, so they immediately joined Scar's side. Both Zira's and Kirros' outsiders were filled with hatred and found the circle of life to be a joke. So, when Scar finally killed Mufasa and became king, Zira's group must have been overjoyed. But as you know, Scar's reign didn't last forever because Simba returned to Pride Lands and overthrew Scar. Zira told Simba that Scar chose her son Kovu as his successor, but Simba said Scar wasn't the valid king. After hearing this, Zira attacked him, as she believed Scar was the rightful ruler. She lost against him and therefore, together with her lionesses and her 3 kids, was sent away to the Outlands. But this wasn't over, because now she was waiting for her son Kovu to grow strong so he is able to kill Simba. Unlike Zira, her cubs were not raised under Kirros' brutal discipline, who was the real cold-blooded killer. This could explain why Kovu could move to Simba's side as the first one so easily when the final battle took place. When Vitani realized Kovu and Kiara were right about not having to fight, she also joined the good side, and all the outsider lionesses followed, except for Zira, and this hatred eventually caused her death. Kovu and Vitani also probably weren't Scar's biological children, which explains why they didn't share the same deep connection with him that Nuka did, who tragically died during an attempt to earn his mother Zira's approval. But what do you think? Was Zira one of the outsiders from the Mufasa movie, or do you have another explanation about her origins and how she got to the Pride Lands? Let me know in the comments, I'm curious. If you would argue that she couldn't live so long to be a part of the pride of Kirros, then I believe she and her outsiders are children of the Kirros' lionesses who survived the fight in Milele. Long live the king.